Brandon, we got a big episode today.
We absolutely do.
I'm very excited for today because let me tell you something. When I grew up, I always wanted to be, it's such a weird thing. I always wanted to be like a late night talk show host, hence the setup that we have here. But I know a big part of that is getting into the local comedy scene and, working on talking in front of the mic. I was never good at that growing up, but I enjoyed watching videos and TV shows and movies that involved anything similar to that. So early 2000s, there was a show called Last Comic Standing. What year were you born?
2002.
2002. All right. So you were still a baby by the time this came out. You're a little guy. But Last Comic Standing was an incredible show that just instantly got me hooked. And even though he didn't win this first season, the one person that stood out, and I'm sure you asked 99% of the population, they'll say the same thing. The one person that stood out of that first season was Ralphie May. And honestly, I feel like he probably was the most successful out of everybody from that season. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2017, but he left a huge, huge footprint on the comedy scene. And it's still, even to today, missed and beloved by so many people. Fortunately, we have a chance to not only sit down with Lahna Turner. Hello, Lahna. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you.
Lahna, you were married to Ralphie. You have two beautiful kids with him. You basically came up in the comedy scene together, right?
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, he was further ahead than I. Yeah, he'd already been doing stand-up for a little while when I first started. But yeah, I mean, I watched his climb.
Yes.
There was a good solid 7 years of nothing happening for him. Just struggling and being broke. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I did.
Tell me about the first time you guys met, because you have this documentary out. It's such a great documentary. Come what may, you're kind of traveling around. Is it just the West Coast? Or you're traveling around the country right now.
The country.
Yeah,
we have a series of bookings already confirmed on the website, and then others that are like being sorted out right now. But yeah, I go next week to Houston.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, and then Nashville, Austin, Dallas. So do a lot of the South.
Yes.
Because that's
a big part. That's where he's from. Right?
Yeah. And then Florida. We're going to hit Florida in the heat of the summer, which is, my dream. And then go up to the East Coast. That's the plan.
I love that.
If something were to happen, like the film were instantly just like all of a sudden streaming, then maybe it'll curtail the tour. But I really want to see it through, because this was something that Ralphie wanted, actually. Which
is it?
Yeah.
You've had a few screenings in California, around LA, and stuff like that. Just two.
We had the premiere.
Yes.
And then we had the second screening, and it was packed, and
that's awesome.
It was so gratifying to sit in a room of people and hear just the energy of like when you work on something for as long as we've worked on this film, like a decade and it's painful to get through that. Yeah. But then oh my God, to sit there and hear like audible laughter, and sadly, but like it felt good to hear the tears. Sure. I mean, there was a lot of tears, and I mean, just very gratifying.
Yeah, I got a chance to check this out yesterday. It was a phenomenal movie. You did such a wonderful job. And I'm sure it's tough, because you're not only opening up personal parts of your life, but also his life as well. And your kids are in there too. And like, there's a lot of personal moments in there, but it tells the full story. It tells more about Ralphie and you and the relationship that you guys have, and from starting from very little to where you were at the end. Like, it tells so much of that story, the ups and the downs. And I don't know what that's like to share that much privately. But you do, and you did a phenomenal job at it.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Yeah?
I mean, it was kind of like, we kind of had to share the whole thing, and it's a lot, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a normal biopic of a deceased celebrity. Ralphie left his story behind, archived in that footage, and I felt like as a part of the story, like being in the story, vulnerable, not my favorite thing, not something I want my kids being in it, not something I want it to do. But there's a sense of responsibility. Like there's an archive of footage, not just for Ralphie, but for the fans and for other people dealing with addiction and the opioid crisis and food addiction, like I felt a serious sense of we need to share this in the right way. And I had many conversations with David, the co-director, of how do we do this and like do it correctly and honestly and honor Ralphie and then also help people. And so those scenes that I'm in that I'm very vulnerable in, David, I let him take the lead because I can't direct a film in which I'm a subject and people feel like, oh, maybe she tweaked something. So that was, yeah.
No, you checked all those boxes of touching on the opioid addiction, the food addiction, the highs, the lows. Like I do feel never once did I watch that and think, oh, this is just her side of it. It's not the full side. I thought it was the entire story, all wrapped up cleanly and properly into one excellent movie. So you did a great job.
It's long because there was a lot. I mean, I joke we couldn't fit Ralphie in 90 minutes because he was too big. I mean, there was no way we could. I really wanted to try and get it into that perfect little nugget of time, which I don't think people care anymore, anyways, because everything's streamed. So it can be 2 parts because it really is like
it's a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. Because and that's not that long, but like I was like, okay, if we do just the biopic, then that's one thing. But then you lose that whole like really unique part of the story that you just don't get with anyone like leaving behind their story. Normally it's just like a talking head and then throw to an interview and then throw to some found footage and then back into it and people try and piece the story together. Ralphie, who was very private about his addictions actually in life, like I think he wanted to make sure that that story was left behind because there's no way like he left it in the footage.
Right.
Like, yeah. So
you were, and I kind of want to talk, I don't want to talk too much about it, but I don't want to share too much about it because I want people to go see it, but I want to kind of dive into just a little bits and pieces.
I mean, there's so much to it that even if we talked at length about any one part, there's still like, it was funny because I showed it to a friend of mine who works at film festivals and he's like, Lahna, there's like, normally when you watch a film like this, there's like maybe a couple of, oh shit moments. And he's like, this one has like 10.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really, I mean, I was watching it while I was working. I had a meeting right in the middle of the movie, and I couldn't wait for the meeting to get over so I can continue on the thing. It was so good. You were filming like even before you guys were married. You guys, in the very early part of the relationship between the two of you, you guys still had footage there. Who was recording
Isn't
that?
that wild?
Why were you being?
I know, it's a big
at
question.
Home too.
I know people are like, why do you have footage of you guys like in those early? So a couple of things happened. One, when I first arrived in Los Angeles, my very first audition, which I don't hardly audition. I don't like that process of this business. I like telling jokes. I like doing stand up, but got to LA, got sent on this. It was for a documentary style reality show of 7 people who live, work, or play on the Sunset Strip for Showtime. And I walked into this audition and met this documentarian, Joe Gantz, who has been my friend ever since. And the film and that pilot got shot, and it was right at the time when there was like a switch over at Showtime, and the new person that took over didn't accept any of the old person's pilots, so it got dropped. But all that footage, unfortunately, there was more footage that Joe didn't have access to anymore. But that's
awesome.
That was how we had the really early footage.
Yes.
Then after Ralphie did Celebrity Fit Club, VH1 wanted to do a reality show about us. And so we shot this, like, I hated that experience. I decided after that I'd never do another reality show because Ralphie wanted to do more reality, but like, so it just was very invasive and like, oh, trying to sensationalize these moments. It wasn't my style at all. But again, we had cameras around us filming us in our daily lives. So some of that footage was taken from that little window. And then of course, like we filmed stuff, you know, in our, like, not like nowadays where you're like,
everything's
being filmed.
Literally.
Yeah. But that's how we had 2 big chunks of our lives were recorded at those moments when I first moved to LA and then like as we were about to get married and embark on our lives together, which was crazy.
So many people know Ralphie from him being on stage or him being on Celebrity Fit Club. What's something that you feel the audience, what's a side of him that you want the audience to see that they probably don't know prior to seeing the doc?
I can't resist the joke. You mean which side? There's like, at least 4. Sorry, I banged fat for like 20 years, so I can fat joke and fat shame. As a thin person, I can totally you can't get mad at me for making fat jokes.
No one will ever get mad at
Yeah,
you.
no, I get that. I get the right. So don't write me.
You
can't
are
talk
blessed.
About fat people.
You will not be canceled, I
Yeah,
assure
he
you.
had at least 4 sides. From the film, what did they? I mean, my God, like he's sheer. I mean, I think people don't realize how much the people around somebody who's highly successful and hyper addicted affect the decisions that they're going to make. I mean, you hear about those things, but you don't see it in real time. And somehow we managed to get it recorded in real time. By the way, you asked about how much footage.
Yeah.
I completely left out a major part of the footage that was being recorded. So we recorded 9 months of him, because we were trying to do a weight loss documentary.
Okay.
So what happened was Ralphie already had gastric bypass, and before I met him, he'd had a stomach stapling surgery. So he was trying things to lose weight that weren't actually like a tremendous amount of effort to have surgery.
Sure.
But it's a tool. And so anyways, he wanted to have the lap band. And I used to say to him, dude, just like duct tape. Like at this point, like you have to change your behavior. You can keep whittling away at your insides as much as you want. But this is a couple of years before he passed away. I looked at him, I was like, I don't think you're going to be around much longer if you don't get this weight off your body. So whatever you're going to do right now, even if it's a Band-Aid, like if you want the lap band, let's do it. And then I said, but he wanted to do more reality. I said, let's record your journey, because one, he did well on Celebrity Fit Club. So I thought, well, a camera will keep you honest, right? And then also I thought, well, if you lose a lot of weight, it helps your fans transition with you. We can watch the journey and celebrate it together. Yeah. But it obviously, when you see the footage, it didn't work out. He didn't qualify for lap band because, it wasn't going to work, and they weren't going to pay for it. Insurance wasn't. And we still recorded it, but it didn't end where I wanted it to by any stretch.
So you mentioned, the next question was that exactly that. You mentioned there were some things that you didn't get a chance to even just to fit in the doc. What's like something that is there anything that you didn't want to show? Not necessarily that you couldn't fit into because of the time constraints, but is there anything that you didn't want to be in the doc?
That didn't make it in, or that is in it?
Both. Let's do both.
Okay. Well, one thing I can tell you is it's taken me so long to finish this film. There's a lot of stuff I couldn't put into the film that I wanted to share. Either we didn't have footage on it, or it wasn't. Look, I mean, this thing at one point was a 3-hour string out. Yeah. So it was a lot of material we had to get through. But I wrote an autobiographical book to fill in the blanks. So that'll come out when the film streams.
Excellent.
But let's see. So there was a piece of content that we had in the long string out that I really wanted to include, but it was just a little too much and hard to explain, which is, maybe we'll post it online at some point, but when Ralphie was first born, maybe he was just like a couple days old, his mother, her brother, wife, and 2 kids flew to see them in Arkansas in their own little private plane. And when they left, it crashed, killed that entire side of his family.
Oh my God.
So his mother, with a brand new baby, which was Ralphie, grieved. I just imagine she's nursing a baby and she's grieving into this child. Right? Her tears are landing on him. So his first real experience in life was drinking his mother's sadness. It makes me cry just saying that. Oh, God, it's supposed to be funny.
You're making me tear up.
Yeah, I'm a comic. Nobody's going to come see my show with the Yuck Yucks. The Funny Farm. I'll sing some songs about Dick. Sorry, that's yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's Ralphie's first introduction to life. Really, was like losing his family. So, like when we talk about, I think babies absorb everything, and it's so formative. So, like that was the beginning of his life. Was like the death of 4 people that loved him, and he would have loved so much. So he had a sad story. So anyways, that was something that we couldn't really fit into the film because it kind of took it on a tangent that was a little like
it's tough,
detached from the overall journey. But yeah, and as far as something that was in the film, there's one piece of content that he had recorded where he's really in tears, and I was like, well, maybe we maybe this is too much. Like it was shared in a text, and David and I talked about it a long time, and it shows how vulnerable he was at the end of his life, and so we really like measured that out. But I always throw back to the very first moment in the film, because he says to us, when you tell my story, be honest, good or bad, I don't give a shit. I really don't. And I'm like, that's what he said. I'm going to honor his wishes, and we're going to be honest and let him tell his story.
And you really did. You nailed it.
Yeah. Well, he said it. Yeah. Whether he meant it, because obviously there's that part where he wasn't super honest, right?
Yep.
But
was it hard looking with so much footage? Where I'm assuming it was, but how hard was it going back and bringing up these old feelings, these old memories that maybe you forgot about, or maybe just kind of were overwritten by other new experiences? How hard was it to relive those again?
Every time. Like every time it sucks, but like I don't know how to answer that, because it just sucked. Yeah. Like, I mean, it was like.
Are you glad you relived it at least? Like, because you were able to remember those times, good and bad?
I think it's going to help people. Because look, I mean, watching the footage, I made mistakes. I'm very codependent. I still am, but like it allows me to figure out how to deal with my own issues a little bit here, right? On my side, what's my side of the fence? How did I mess up things?
Sure.
And I was really angry at him for a long time. Like I couldn't remember what it felt like to love him. Like it took me a long journey to forgive him, because I was doing this weird thing. I was like, I want to forgive you because it's not doing me any good not forgiving you, but I'm mad at myself because I can't forgive you. So now I'm mad at me and I'm mad at you, and it's just this like endless cycle. So I don't know. I guess doing the film, getting the film done, helped me find my way to like letting him go, and I'm forgiving myself for being mad at him.
Beautifully said.
Yeah, right?
It really is.
Yeah, no, but it sucked. And it's still hard, like, to sit in the screenings and things. I mean, it's not easy.
You've, so many celebrities, especially right out of the gate, big name, big A-list celebrities, Jay Leno, Jay Mohr, Jeff Ross, Tiffany Haddish, Bob Saget, they all say nothing but incredible things about him. And they knew him really, really well.
Yeah.
Looking at that, when you hear those people talk about him, how does it feel to you when you hear Bob Saget or Jeff Ross? I feel like Jeff shared a lot about his experience and his feelings towards him. How did that make you feel? What did that feel like?
I mean, I love that those people came out to support it. Like, first of all, we wouldn't have a film, I don't think, without Jay Mohr. Like,
really?
Yeah, or we wouldn't have that whole section of Ralphie's rise.
Yep.
Because if it wasn't for Jay Mohr, nobody would know who Ralphie was. Like, I attribute everything that Ralphie had in success in his world to Jay. Because nobody would put Ralphie on TV, and Jay fought for Ralphie. He loved him. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that guy just solid. And, I mean, we knew all those people throughout those years, but having them show up and record the interviews and just be there, it's wonderful. Like, they're nice people. I
like that Jay Mohr is also, and has been pretty open with his addictions and his demons that he's dealing with. So in the doc, he does kind of relate to it, say, especially during those days, he wasn't the true self that he was today, because he admitted that he's dealt with his own demons that he had going on.
Yeah, no, he was just a few weeks out of rehab when he did that interview. He was super vulnerable.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see it.
He had a great line that just stuck with me. It was, when you go up on stage, you give the audience an hour of the best of you, and then you just disappear.
Yeah, you think that. But when you're high like that, you're not giving them the best of you. I mean, there's some times that Ralphie went on stage and he disappointed his audience. Right. And I mean, I know that there were a couple of shows that Jay had too that, he was on stuff. Like, it was never the best. You think that because you're high.
Exactly.
but I mean, we've all been to shows where you're like, I don't think that person's doing so good. And you feel bad at the show because,
Yeah.
So.
Well, I want to talk about how you guys got together. So obviously when you guys first got together, he was still a big guy.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
What is it about him that attracted you to him?
I got to know him on the phone.
Really?
Yeah. Like, we became friends through comedy, but he wasn't living in Houston. He would go back and forth because, you can't make very much money living in LA as a new comic.
Yeah.
So he would pop back into Houston, but we would have these long conversations on the phone, and he was so damn funny. So, I mean, I just look forward to talking to him, and I got to know him that way.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with him. The physical part, I'm not a chubby chaser. Like, he's my first and only moped. So, yeah. I did love him.
Yeah.
And I always expected him to lose weight. I mean, like, you can see throughout the whole thing. He was going to lose weight, right? Like, and I was delusional enough to believe that and didn't understand really what it all meant.
There was more to it than just on the surface level.
Yeah, like, there was a lot. And there was a lot of lying going on around me. And that's true to anybody addicts are fun. They're fun to be around. He did everything ginormous and huge and like big laughs. And then the bad stuff was huge. Yeah. So like I just didn't have too much of the bad stuff as we were getting to know each other and getting into our lives together. And then that roller coaster really started. I
mean, especially as you specifically, you're going through it, you're in it full time, 24/7. There's no handbook to how to handle certain things. There's no, way to, okay, we need to do this and this and this. Like, you can try to, make efforts to improve certain situations, but there really isn't, like, you weren't expecting to walk into a situation like that, were you, in the early days?
No, but I think there are sort of parameters that I've learned about. Like, Al-Anon tells you that, the only person you can help is yourself. And what I do think for people who have an addict in their lives or are everyone, like, the addict is rattling cages and making all these noises. I can't tell you how many times something just exploded in our lives that was ridiculous. Like, even like something as minor as you're backing the car out of the garage and you don't open the garage and you run right into it. Right. And now the garage door is broken and dented by the car. And then you still leave the house and drive off. And now I'm standing there looking at a garage and trying to figure out how to fix a garage. Not my responsibility, by the way. It's your responsibility. This is just one minor example. But nobody says to me, hey, Lahna, you need help. Right. They go, hey, addict, you need help. And so I think it's really important. Like, there's other people in the situation. So I'm just in there like, oh, I'm trying to fix everything. I'm trying to make everything right. Well, that's the codependent. So there are things you can do. I just didn't understand them. And yeah.
Well said.
Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. It does. Because again, like you, I mean, listen, I haven't been in a situation like where you in, so I can't speak. I'm on the outside looking in, giving my advice. But it's like you. Looking back on it, yes, there were things that I'm sure you could say, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. But I just feel like when you're in it, you're knee deep in it, and you don't have the proper experience. It's hard to navigate through that the right way and make sure you do things the right way. But your example of the garage door thing, spot on.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Drew says it best about codependency. Like you might think the addict might not want to be rescued, but you're going to keep trying. Yeah. And I mean, once we had kids, that really changed the everything, because then it became more about them and
the priorities changed.
And I was afraid. I was afraid of what I was about to be dealing with. So I didn't see. I don't know. You can look back and see things with more clarity.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. When you guys were still up and coming, even before Last Comic Standing, you guys traveled the road together a lot. Is that right?
Yeah.
What are some stories that, what's a story from being on the road with him that didn't make the doc that really stood out to you?
Oh, I mean, so much didn't make the doc, right? Like, I mean, we didn't record every minute, but I mean, just what you do see in the documentary, you see this bus, right?
Yes.
That we got to travel around on. That was the result. So when he had pulmonary embolisms, we ended up getting a bus so that he didn't have to fly, and it's like literally a land boat. Like, it's like constant repair and work to keep that thing on the road. But it was so fun. I mean, like, when I got to go on that bus and wake up, my favorite thing would be I'd fall asleep on the bus. And when you go from town to town, you always hear, you don't know what town you're in. You're like, hey, Cleveland. And you're like, you were in Detroit, right? You really do lose your bearings. So I'm on this bus, and I'll wake up in the morning. I've got my kids. I'll open my phone. I'll see where I'm located, and I'll find out what adventure we're going to have in that area.
Right.
And then that that was probably my favorite thing. But
Yeah.
I love traveling.
Yeah.
I love telling jokes. So like combine, and then I loved being with Ralphie. So combining like jokes and travel, and then being with people that you love being with. I mean, it's just like, it's the best,
I've seen some of your stand up too, and you were very good. You're first of all, you're an incredible guitar player too.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Did you guys ever share notes on the material or like help each other with material?
Sometimes.
Did you?
I mean, like comics will, give people jokes or like tag jokes. I inspired some of his bits.
That's awesome.
And like the Kennedy joke, like Daryl Hannah, when the whole thing, when I don't know if you remember that bit, but that was the first bit that when we first met that I inspired for him to write. And so yeah, there were times. Yeah, I mean, when you spend enough time with another comic, but never. I was always really guarded with my material because I never wanted people to be like, "Oh, Ralphie wrote your jokes," because that's not something I ever wanted. And we're very different. Also, like I write songs, so and he was always very topical, and I'm more personal with what I talk about. But.
Do you feel that with him being on the road as often as he was, especially towards the middle and the end of the doc? Did it help that you were also, or that you're also a comedian and you kind of understood the life being on the road thing? Like, I'm assuming having your significant other be away for X amount of days, weeks, months out of the year, it's not easy. Did that help you at least understand what it's like to not have your husband there as often when you have kids at home and you're trying to work too?
I understand. I mean, I know what it's like to be on the road. I do not think that Ralphie needed to work as much as he did. In fact, I know
he worked a lot.
I know factually he didn't need to work as much as he did. This might be TMI, but
Bring it on.
When he passed away here in Vegas.
Yes.
And he had to stay at Harrah's, which was an excellent thing for him to have because he was in one place. But he had been offered a deal at South Point where he had been working before, which was like 6 dates a year, so every other month, to go into South Point where he already had a nice relationship and they were going to pay him very well. And at the time I was like, Ralphie, let's like get rid of the house in Nashville. This was right before things really got dark. So let's sell the house in Nashville, move back to LA. It's enough money for us to be fine. Do 6 dates a year, pick up anything else you want in between and get off the road and work on your health. And the man that's in the film that
Yes.
I won't spoil too much, but that person that our at the screening got called the villain of the film.
Good.
Yeah, he wedged himself physically between Ralphie and I because he was in the room having the conversation. Physically put himself between us and said, "I'm going to get you a real stay in Las Vegas," and moved him out of my way. And then he did get a real stay in Las Vegas, which was awesome. Harrah's is terrific, but it didn't allow him the freedom to like be with his family. And that man had no intention of wanting Ralphie to be with his family. So yeah, it was wild.
It was wild. I'm glad he got called the villain of the...
Yeah, he got called straight up the villain. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got told I stood up to the patriarchy. Which I was like, okay. But yeah. I feel like that's a scene that people just have to see. I don't want to poison the well and talk about it too much because I want people to see it and make their own decisions. Yeah. But yeah.
Obviously, Ralphie was never shy about joking about his weight, even very early on. I mean, it's kind of like that's kind of like the formula for comedy is you kind of put everything out on the table and you laugh about it and then everybody just has a good time, whatever. But dealing with food issue type trauma, I don't feel like is now getting talked about, especially because of Ozempic and everything like that. But how hard is it to hear him, looking back and hear him joke about his weight and know that a lot of what he was joking about was also real life, issues that kind of stemmed further than what he said on stage. How hard was that to hear?
I mean, he needed to work on himself, but he was in full blown addict mode throughout his life. I don't think he knew how. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I've been asked a couple times, do you think Ralphie would have been on Ozempic? I mean, and of course, but then I would say, well, he'd put it on a cracker and eat it. Like, I mean, there's only so much. that type of drug is great because it gets the weight off your body and allows your heart to have the opportunity to like hopefully not be labored with all that weight and like the immediate effect. But you still have to work on the issue.
The habits.
Like what I mean, look, we're in a hyper food focused world. We're so lucky that this is a problem. I mean, we're not starving. We have like, but I mean, I read this book about food and how we're sold food, right? Everything's with the maximum amount of sugar, fat, and salt to make it as addictive as possible. But like we're designed to walk like 5 miles to a blueberry bush, eat the blueberries, and go there every day until all the blueberries are gone. And the next season, as soon as you think there might be another blueberry, you're going to walk back to that blueberry bush and eat those blueberries, and it's going to be the greatest thing you've ever had. And now you're like sit on a sofa and don't do anything, watch TV, and then like, oh, there's like every possible yummy thing like 20 feet from you stored in a fridge. It's an impossible equation. So like how just without having an issue from your childhood that you're masking in like we live in a hard world when it comes to food. So I mean, understanding that alone is one thing, but then the issues behind food addiction is no different, I think, than any other addiction. Yeah. It's just you're masking stuff and you're getting that, you get the same like dopamine hit in your brain that you do from like a hit of heroin. When somebody is a food addict and they get that high from eating. And I learned that when Ralphie did do one stint in rehab, they talked to us about food addiction. And yeah, that's pretty damn powerful, right?
Sure.
How do you, and I joke, of all the things to quit, food is the toughest one, right? You can't quit cold turkey. It's so good, especially after Thanksgiving.
Especially.
Yeah.
Stuffing and all that. Can we talk a little bit about the last comic standing thing? Like I said, like I was in it. Like what year was that? 2000.
Oh God, don't ask me that.
Let's just say early.
A long time ago.
Yeah, early 2000s-ish.
Back in the day.
Back in the
previous century.
So when he did come in second place, but I feel like the American Idol thing, like not all the winners are as big as the runner-ups and the people that don't win. And I feel like he, out of every successful comic that's come from that show, I feel like he's definitely the top one. When that all went down, how were you reacting when you saw that he got second place?
I was there. Yeah. I was sad for him because I could tell he was disappointed that he didn't win. Yeah. But funny thing about that show is that it was airing on TV, right? We didn't have the ability, we didn't record it. And I was working so hard just to pay rent and debt because I'd paid for his flight. That I didn't that I couldn't even watch the show. So I remember one day he came. So when he went into the house, we talk about how we got a roommate to help pay for rent. So I mean that's how broke we were. Sean has passed away, which is
I saw that at the end.
Yeah, bummer. Really, really sad. I wish he was alive to see this. It would have meant so much to him. Yeah. But we were so broke. When Sean moved into the apartment, it was him and I for quite a few weeks while Ralphie was out. And I had my bar soap in the shower. And Sean, I didn't know what was happening, but it disappeared. And then the hand soap was disappearing next to the sink. And I couldn't afford, I was so broke. I didn't have money. I was emptying my rolling pennies just to
pay.
So I have to confront him. I'm like, dude, are you using my soap? And he was. And I was like, oh my God, you're washing your balls and I'm washing my face. What the hell, man? Yeah. So that's where I was in that moment in my life. So here, this show is streaming, or not streaming, it's airing on NBC. Millions of people are watching Ralphie on TV. And I'm just focused on how am I going to get groceries this week? Mm-hmm. And then one day, while it's airing now, because they did all the house stuff, pre-recorded or recorded stuff.
Right, when the comics were in the house together and all that.
And now he's home, and they're doing the competition part. So he's showing up and doing the final. And he comes home, and he says to me, I got recognized in the parking lot filling up gas. Somebody ran up to me and took my picture and said, "You're Ralphie May from that show." And he was stunned. He was a little white, ghostly. Yeah. As he goes, I think this is going to be a really big deal. And I was like, I could cry. Oh my God, just thinking about that. because we didn't even. I mean, we're just trying to get through the day, right?
Yeah.
And here he was about to be like a nationally touring headliner.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
With all the bad that was in those days of just scrounging every last penny, is there anything about those days that you do miss? Now that you fast forward to where you are today, you got the house, you got kids, you can buy as much soap as you want. Is there anything about those days that you do miss, even though looking back, it's, at the time it was tough, but looking back on it?
Well, fun story here.
We love fun stories.
Since this is we're digging deep. When Ralphie and I separated, we didn't talk for a year. And that man that we'll just say is in the film,
the villain,
hyper involved in our lives. And when he passed away, there was $17 in his bank account. It might have not just been that man. There were other people.
Sure.
Okay, I want to make sure that that's clear. And it could have also been Ralphie. He was addicted in spending, and God knows where the money went. I could never figure out if he had a secret account. I don't know. But there was like $17. That's it. And I had $300,000 debt and $80,000 probate. So I got to experience being broke again, only with 2 kids. When he died, my credit cards were so maxed out. The last thing I put on it was his cremation, and I went 3 weeks without the ability to buy groceries.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
So I thought I was going to lose the house. At the time, my only goal was to be able to stay in the house for 2 years and be able to keep my son from leaving elementary school before he finished, because he had his friends, and that's it. I was like, I'd got to be able to keep this. And I wanted to also, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it, but we had joined a tennis club, and it was one consistent thing in the kids' life where they could go there and be with their friends. And I didn't want, and they'd lost everything else. They'd lost all their like music lessons and extracurricular activities. But those were the 2 things I just, for 2 years. And then I was like, I'll move to Florida, be close to my parents, and then figure out how to live my life. And fortunately, I was able to pay off the debt.
Good
and I was able to, I'm still in the house.
Good.
Yeah, I worked really hard. So the experience of being broke again with 2 kids was way worse than being broke in my 20s, right? Like that was, I just had to I had to make a car payment and like rent and yeah.
You're a fucking awesome mom. Like I'm 41 years old, and I see my mom was a single mom. My parents divorced when I was very young, and for a good amount of time, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, a lot of that, it was just me going with her from one job to another, whatever. She put me in the daycare. And I know how hard looking back now, I'm 41 years old. Looking back, I see how hard it was then. At the time, I was, I didn't know. I just thought I was just getting in the car and going. But you really are a sponge at that stage of your life. When you're a kid, you take in everything around you. Just like even when you said Ralphie was born, like he was a sponge. That first experience of life was his mother's sadness. And experiencing what your kids did and what you did, it's so hard. I couldn't even fathom what that's like. But knowing that you did it and still are doing as much as you can and going above and beyond, not everybody could do that. And that's, I hope you get enough credit for that, because that's fucking awesome.
I mean, I've made my mom mistakes.
Oh,
my kids are awesome.
Yes.
And they love me. But yeah, I mean, I'm not perfect by any stretch. It's such a hard job. Like I had no experience. Like, at all.
Yeah.
I didn't even like kids. I joke that I still don't like kids. I don't like other people's kids. Like I love mine. I used to say this to my kids are like farts. You always kind of like your own, right? Because I like mine most of the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes they're real douchey. But I love them and they're my life. And my daughter's 18. She's going to college.
That's crazy, because I was just watching it, and they were so young.
They were
in that.
babies.
Yeah.
I know they attended the premiere, and they are well spoken, and it's amazing. But my son's 16, so they're basically adults now, and they're pretty self-sufficient. So, like most women that have children aren't able to have a career that they want. Like I spent a lot of time, focused on them.
Sure.
And then a lot of time helping my husband build his career. And in the meantime, I always kept stand-up on a nice, steady boil. Like I never stopped doing stand-up, telling jokes, working on the craft. But I couldn't do it to the degree that I hope to be able to do it now.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Good.
I can still make people laugh, and apparently now people like make a room full of people cry.
You can have a whole wide range of emotions that you
just
give
whatever
out.
it is, we'll get the emotions.
Exactly.
And I guess I'm entertaining and creating art, which at the end of the day is really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super proud to do that and have relatively healthy adults. I think that I don't think one of the goals of doing the film also was the hope of breaking the addiction cycle, because there's, my kids I can tell them all day long that this is what happened when you were little, but they can actually see the film now and understand, and hopefully, knock on, not repeat the patterns, because what happens, we all repeat those patterns over and over again. And so we need to break that.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yes. So what are you doing these days? What takes up your time? Now that the doc's out and you're touring the country and
Right.
showcasing that, what else takes up your day besides being a mom?
Okay, well, it's not out. It's just going on tour.
Yes, sorry, on tour,
So I'm
yes.
figuring this out. So, what eats up my time? Oh my God, so much. Well, right now I'm touring the film. So I'm here in Vegas because we're screening it, right? On
Screaming
Thursday.
it Thursday at the Beverly Theater, Thursday, May 7th, which I am very excited for, 7 p.m. Tickets are still available.
Tickets, yeah. I can give away 2 tickets with this air
Yes.
for Thursday, right?
We'll edit it and we'll post it tonight.
Yeah. So
get it
if
up.
2 people want tickets, I don't know how they can reach out to you, maybe, or reach out to me.
We'll figure
I
out
don't-
some sort of contest,
Okay.
some sort of giveaway.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll give away 2 tickets. But yeah, so I'm taking the film on the road because Ralphie, at one time we did our wills and we talked about what we wanted done with our bodies posthumously. And he told me, he goes, I want you to take my ashes on the road, take me on one last tour, and sprinkle me on every stage.
Wow.
And I said, dude, you'll end up in the nachos. And I laughed and said, that's where you belong. Someone in the front row will be eating you. And so,
Such is the circle of life.
yeah, right? It was really funny. But I was like, I can't take his ashes on the road. His mom wanted him in Arkansas, so that's where he is.
Good.
But I am taking his film on the road for him, and I'm taking his jacket so people can
Look at that
Yeah.
jacket.
Isn't that great? So Ralphie always took pictures with his fans and people after the show.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing, and the idea is that people can put on his jacket.
That's awesome.
It was crazy. I unboxed it from the frame, posted it online. It got I don't know, 100,000 views in the first day.
It's crazy.
And then I put it on Mark Norman, and that video hit 500,000 in no time.
Incredible.
So people are really excited about this.
It's such a great looking jacket. Yeah, he had really good style.
I mean, that was just talk about a traffic stop, right? If you're flipping channels, you're like, wow, that's a big dude.
Look at that jacket. Yes.
Yeah, he was always smart about how he represented himself.
Yes.
So yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then also, so my son didn't have very many positive memories of his dad because he was so young when he got sick, and then and then he passed away. So knowing that, I did not know that it was going to take me so long to create the film. My son was really young when I started editing on this project.
How long do you think it would take?
I didn't know, but a year or 2.
Yeah.
Not 10 almost. I mean, it's very expensive and time consuming to do a project like this. Anyone who, I had to pay for a lot of it myself, which, by the way, side note, the way I was able to perpetuate myself in the house and create income enough to pay for this project was through this project, I started figuring out, because a lot of his material, his stand-up was locked up in legal purgatory, and it wasn't airing anywhere. And so I needed access to the footage.
Sure.
So I started calling. I was my own legal team.
Yeah.
So I'm calling all these places and unraveling. So sometimes a 1-hour special can have a chain of title that goes back 4 or 5 people deep. And finding that legal chain was quite hard.
Yeah.
Which is why, especially now, I want to look in the camera.
Right here.
Own your content. Because nowadays, you can self-stream, which is a possibility for this film, but I think it's really important to own stuff because the streaming world has changed so much, and and it all changed while I was getting back this material. So we started streaming it. I formed a business with a friend of mine. It's called Comedy Genius, and my partner, he's the genius. I just bring in the comedy, and we have some wonderful. We're a small company, have some great clients, and we post material online, and and it aggregates income, and it kept
Beautiful.
me in the house. And
That's awesome.
yeah, and so that's another thing that keeps me busy.
Yes.
So we got the film, we got the autobiography, we got raising 2 kids, and then I also wrote this comic book for my son because I was like, I wanted him to have a positive memory, even if it was like created around Ralphie for him. This was an idea that Ralphie and I had over 20 years ago. Ralphie had done a commercial in which he played a superhero.
Okay.
And I don't know if you can see this. This is a picture of him in
Oh
in his superhero suit. And
Wow.
after he shot these, he said to me, I'd really like to play a superhero.
Yeah.
And I said, and we talked about it. I was like, well, what would be his name? And we decided on Superman. And then the conversation went on, and it didn't go. It was like literally. I think Ralphie was probably high. He was probably stoned, because it was very quick.
Sure.
Like maybe 5 minutes. I asked him one question after Superman.
Yeah.
How does he get his power? And Ralphie goes, an accident with a microwavable burrito. That was it. The conversation ended, and I sat down and I wrote book 1 of Pounds of Power. And then I have a friend, Andrea, if anybody is thinking about wanting to create content like this,
Yeah.
I have an editor. He edited my autobiographical book too. He's a brilliant man. His name's Andrea. Just message me. I'll give you his contact because I absolutely kiss this man's feet. He is so brilliant.
Yes.
I call him up and I go, because we had a mutual friend who introduced us. I said, I want to do this comic book. And he goes, okay, first rule, you need to know this. You will never make any money. You do this because you want to. I go, well, I want to do it. He goes, great. You got to write 4 books. So I wrote 4 books, and we hired the illustrator. I didn't illustrate these. I actually have an art degree, but I could never do this.
It's incredible. It's
You need
drawn,
an
yeah.
illustrator. There are people who do everything from beginning to end.
Okay.
But illustrator who's amazing, they're all in here. Like
Beautiful design work.
Oh, I mean, Hugo Petrus did the lines.
Okay.
Werner Sanchez did the color, and Letter Squids did the lettering. And even the lettering is just, it's like so unbelievable.
That's so cool.
So anyways, it's a hilarious book. Book 1 just happened to come out I think it's just being distributed now to comic book stores.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the next 3 months, so book 2 comes out next month, 3 and 4. And then so the series will be available, and you can get it online at poundsofpower.com.
Poundsofpower.com.
But only
Yes.
this version. I'm learning all about all the what makes different books special.
Sure.
This one has a foil cover,
That's
so
nice.
it makes it a collector's edition. And I don't know there's a limited number of these printed, and you can only get them on the website. Or guess where else you can get them?
Where?
When you come to one of the screenings, I'll have them for sale. And
Yes.
buy them there as well. And so I have one for you. This one's
Oh, thank you.
because the kids help me.
Yeah. So
the book.
how are your kids involved with this?
So August was less involved. So they both have their credits. So August was creative consultant because there was a couple of things in here where it was like, Mom, that would never happen in a comic book. I was like, okay, so we have a shape shifting that occurs at the end of book 4.
Okay.
And so that one, he was like, they would never shapeshift into that. So I was like, okay, so
Mom.
yeah, so he knows his comic books pretty well, and so does my daughter. And she was a visual and editorial consultant. She literally was involved in once I started doing this, she's going for an art degree now.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. So this one, I have both of these for you. This one you can
Yes.
read. It's out of the bag and board, which is very
Look at
important.
you.
I know. I've learned.
Look at you with all the terminology and everything like that.
I'm a nerd. I am a nerd. My boyfriend's a nerd. But it's signed by me and both kids. And then in the back
Excellent.
is a little flyer for the film.
Come what may.
Ralphie is an angel and a devil. So very proud of this artwork. The artist who put this together is great. The photographer actually is local to Vegas who took
really?
this picture of Ralphie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruno is his name. I don't know Bruno's last name, but he's phenomenal. So yeah, this picture was taken when I shot my 1-hour special here in town.
That's awesome.
Because he did my photo for the cover of my album,
Yeah.
or my special.
Yes.
And then while we were there, Ralphie had some concept that never came to fruition, which was him in angel wings.
Mm-hmm.
And it never got used. The photo sat on my hard drive. And when I was looking for pictures, I shared it with the artist. And I mean, how perfect.
It's a perfect
couldn't have
image.
planned it. It's just, wow.
You know, it's so funny. You before I wrap this up, I wanted to share this. In the doc, you have at the end, you have Ralphie on the Morning Blend, which is was a local talk show here, and one of the hosts, Sean Tempesta, is a friend of mine. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, I got to text Sean. Like, tell me about this time you remember interviewing Ralphie. And he said, yeah, he interviewed him a few times, and every time he was so sweet, so genuine, such a nice guy, so just great on the mic and great behind the camera too. And I thought that was pretty cool too. Like having that Sean kind of share his story about what it's like. And everybody that's met him, I'm sure, has nothing but great things. But I thought that was pretty cool that he was in there too.
No, it's so good. I'm looking forward to. I'm going to be on the Morning Blend tomorrow.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to meeting them, and I clipped that out for them in case they didn't remember.
That's awesome.
He was pretty high in that interview.
Was he really?
It was one of the last interviews I think he did.
That's right. Yeah. I think you mentioned that in there.
Yeah. So that's.
It's wild because me on the outside, I wouldn't be able to tell. I wouldn't. I just thought that's just who he is. That's just his character on screen.
Yeah.
But wow.
Yeah. No, it's pretty amazing. But Vegas was awesome for Ralphie, and when we were booking the film to come here, it was kind of a conversation. Well, it's not really like a screening town. Like there's towns that are known for their like screening indie films, and I was like, no, we have to go to Vegas. We have to start the tour there because it just has to. It just has to happen. And so,
good and bad, you have a history here.
Yeah. I mean, it's all good actually. I mean, it's sad that he passed here, but I mean, we even got married here.
You did.
Yeah. It's so. I don't know. I just was like, we have to start here. So right after LA, it was straight to Vegas. So yeah, and I think people really enjoy it. They just need to come out.
How was it with getting married by the 3 Elvises?
Hilarious. I didn't really. I'm not a big wedding kind of person. Well, I used to work as a photographer.
Okay.
So I shot a lot of weddings.
Yes.
And I just was like, this is not my thing. So, when we decided to get married, I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, just have fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Our vows were like, don't step on our blue suede, don't step on his blue suede shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't treat him like a hound dog.
I like that they made you repeat that twice.
Yeah.
You gave him a look like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to make sure you heard that. Come what may, Beverly Theater, Thursday, May 7th. Absolutely get your tickets. It's such a phenomenal documentary. You were awesome. You did a fantastic job. You and your team did such a great job. You did an awesome job here today. I am so thankful and so blessed that you were able to come on today. This was so much fun.
Thankful and blessed as well.
Where can people find more of you personally?
Thank you. Please come find me. I'm actually doing spots in town while I'm here.
Good.
The Laugh Factory partnered with us in the film. So
Nice. Yes.
I popped in there last night and did a show with Butch Bradley, which Butch is hilarious. So if you haven't seen him, go see his show. But I do perform all over, and I'm posting a lot about the film and all the other things, the comic book and the autobiographical book. So yes, my name's Lahna Turner, and it's important to put an H in Lahna, so it's Lahna.
Yes.
Remember the H, otherwise backwards it spells anal. Okay.
When did you realize that?
Oh, a long time ago. And so yeah, but Lahna Turner, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, all the places.
All the things.
All the things.
All the things.
Yeah.
Brandon, what did you learn today?
Oh.
I learned that
Even though you were too young to understand Ralphie's coming up, but now that you've kind of experienced it all, you got the total package. What did you learn?
Well, I will say that even before coming here, Ralphie was one of the people that I recognized on Instagram. And I feel like all of the great comedians have this distinct voice, like Gabriel Iglesias, Joe Coy, and Ralphie was one of them. So it's just really awesome to see the behind the scenes with this docuseries.
Well said. Good job.
That is well said.
That was good. I wasn't expecting that.
You know, he's really made a resurgence online because of Mike and posting and having access to the content.
Yes.
It's just been amazing. People find him and then they realize, oh no, he's not around anymore.
Right.
But I mean, his voice resonates now somehow more than ever. I mean, his material's evergreen.
Yes, it really is. It's phenomenal. I don't want to play the what if game, but if he was still around, what are the topics you think what kind of material do you think he would write about now?
That's so funny. I mean, everything. I think obviously he'd be talking about Trump and the various wars we've been in and out. I mean, he was so topical, right?
He was.
So I think he'd have a lot of fun with all that. And then, I mean, the not being able to say certain words, I think, like,
Would that be tough for him?
no, I mean, retard is a fun word to say. Like, you can't, like, all of a sudden you're just going to tell somebody not to say that. Like truly retarded. Like,
It changes so
yeah.
often.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. It's an interesting question. The Ralphie that he was struggling so much at the end, so I would love to imagine what it would have looked like had he gotten healthy.
Yeah.
That's a hard one for me to think
I
about.
can imagine.
It actually makes me really sad because that was my dream when we were together.
Sure.
Was that he would find his way and be around, whether we were together or not. By the way, it wasn't as important for the marriage as it was just for our kids.
Sure.
So yeah, comedically, I think that would have been really rad for him to have been able to share his sharp opinions. But yeah, just for my kids to have one more minute with him. No, you made me cry at the end.
Oh,
No, I don't want to end on a sad note. Don't end on a sad note. Let's say something funny. Damn it.
Can I come over there and try that jacket on?
Absolutely.
Okay, hang on. I'm
All right,
coming over
let's do
there.
that.
I want to see what this jacket is. This is such a great looking jacket. Let's throw this on. I'm going to sit down here.
Oh, okay. All right. Wait. Don't sell the looks.
I won't. Not so much. Look at us. Look at this. This jacket is so awesome. This jacket's fantastic.
It fits you really well.
You know, I'm working on it. I'm working on my biceps a little bit. I'm working on the chest. So this is great. This is a good look.
I can fit in there with you.
Yeah, the whole team. Brandon, get over here too. We're getting everybody involved. Come on over. Come on over. Get over here. I want to see Brandon with the jacket on, actually.
That's a good idea. Oh my God.
Yes, you absolutely are. Throw that jacket on.
This is an honor. Oh my goodness.
Take a seat. Let's see what. Oh, Brandon, you could fit 10 of you in there.
Like I'm a fireman.
Yeah.
That's a good look. That's an incredible look.
What are those head to toe things that people wear on the couch?
Oh, like the Snuggies or
Yeah,
something?
Snuggies.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's like below my kneecap.
Fancy snuggie.
Stand up, Brandon. Let me see. Let's see. Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
He was a big dude.
He was a big guy. Was he tall too or no?
No, he was like 5'9".
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
so funny.
Like he says in the film, he's 5'9" in every direction.
That's right. He
Yeah.
did say that was a good one. That was a good
Yeah.
line. Oh my gosh. Well, Lahna, thank you so much for coming on. This
you.
was so much fun.
Yes.
Beverly Theater, Thursday, May 7th. Oh my God. Come what may. Phenomenal. Get your tickets at thebeverlytheater.com. Check out Lahna Turner on all the platforms with an H. Don't forget the H. Let's play this outro song before we go. This was awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Boys and girls, check out new episodes each week on heybighead.com. Brandon, you looked phenomenal in that jacket. That was great. We'll see you next week. Awesome.
Was that good?
Yes. Crushed it.
I'm going to be thinking about it. I too much here.